After the college entrance exam, I became a stand-in for my sister. The day the results came out, my parents decided my sister should go to school under my name. I was dead set against it, but on the first day of school, they locked me inside the house. Finally, I went to a chaotic vocational school using my sister's name. There I accidentally fell off the rooftop. When I woke up again, I couldn't be bothered to fight anymore. It's just a name, let her have it. This time, I just want to live my own life well. Linda, your sister didn't do well. She could have gone to a good college, if it weren't for her poor health. You know she can't study for long stretches. Can you? Dad's voice trailed off. Mom beside him was impatient. What's there to say? She has hands and feet. She can do anything. But Molly is different. If she doesn't go to college, what will happen to her? Hearing this, Dad's resolve hardened immediately. Yes, Molly will use your name for school, and you will use Molly's name. Hearing the same words as in my past life, it was like waking from a dream. It took a while to calm down from the fear of death and accept the fact I was reborn. In my last life before college, my parents favored my sister, but it wasn't too obvious. The real nightmare started after the exams ended. Even now, I can vividly recall those bullying scenes. Seeing me silent for a long time, Mom's face turned dark and stern. Just some stupid score, why hesitate? Do you want to see your sister lonely and miserable in the future? You ungrateful thing, raising you was a waste. Just a score? Such a joke. I fought for that score for over 10 years, waking early and staying up late. But to her, it's just only? I wanted to confront her. No need though. She wouldn't care about me anyway. In this house, no one considers my feelings. In my last life, I resisted fiercely, but it ended up hurting me more. They even threatened to cut ties with me, while already planning another path for me. To let my sister smoothly finish college, they sent me, under her name, to the vocational wing of that prestigious university, self-studying her coursework to help her graduate. But it was pandemonium, not a school, a playground for wrongdoers. There I endured humiliation. At first, I wouldn't agree, even going on a hunger strike for days. But my parents just said I was being dramatic, force-feeding me meals. Dad promised that if I could help my sister get her diploma, he would find me a good job. If I disagreed, he'd keep me locked in the house forever. I eventually gave in, but it led me to my demise. Even in death, I couldn't understand why they treated me like this. Reasons don't matter now. Some things can't be faked, like my decade-long efforts. I won't let them go to waste. I met Mom's fiery gaze and smiled. You're right, Mom, it's just a score. It's not as important as my sister. Mom raised an eyebrow, surprised at my compliance. Dad patted my shoulder approvingly. Linda, you're so sensible. Dad has a gift for you too. He fetched an envelope from the bedroom, opening it to reveal an acceptance letter. Linda, you'll be going here with Molly's name. Sure enough, they'd planned it all just like last time. Dad's smile held an implicit threat, allowing no rejection. Inovet aurikt ishko. Come school day, I went with my parents to drop off my sister at school. They claimed it was because they didn't know the enrollment process. And as Molly was frail, I could help figure it out. But the real reason was the school's entrance test. My sister's grades wouldn't cut it. So, during the test, I could temporarily use my real name, Linda. Mom held her head high, bestowing a great favor on me. On the train, not enough seats. I was the only one standing among us four. No, I probably wasn't considered family. Just a useful accessory, serving my sister. Sister's back ached, so Mom had me give her a massage. She got hungry, so Mom ordered a $100 steak. I ate instant noodles while cutting her steak. She insisted on trying but cut herself. What a joke. This little sister, coddled her whole life, had never touched a knife. She cried in pain. Mom fussed over her, bandaging the cut and scolded me. Your sister has never used a knife. How dare you let her do it herself? I paused. She called my sister Linda. That was my name. But it was my sister who insisted on cutting it herself. Mom forgot. I had also cut myself when I first used a knife, but I wrapped it myself. It was as if I wasn't her daughter. Maybe she forgot I was her daughter too. But I'm used to it already. Without hope, there's no disappointment. I apologized to my sister, Her teary eyes shook as she said, "It's not your fault, sis. It's my fault for trying to show off when I couldn't handle it." I let out a bitter laugh and dug into my noodles. "How can you eat after hurting Linda?" Mom pushed me hard. Noodles spilled all over, hot water swelling my hand, but I gritted my teeth and kept silent. Mom's gaze softened, her anger fading a bit. But she'd never think she was wrong. She pulled back her hand, snorted, "If only you'd be half as good as Linda. Truly a disgrace, raising an ingrate like you." My body stiffened. Looking at my scalded hand, I spoke softly. "Yeah, it'd have been better if I was never born. Then I wouldn't be a bother, wasting resources you meant for sister." Sister covered her bandaged hand. "Sis, don't say that." I cut her off. Mom was right. As soon as my little sister got hurt, it was my fault. A huge mistake. And making mistakes means punishment. "Don't worry, Mom. I'll make sure to take better care of her in the future," I promised. "Besides, that's why you sent me to that school, right?" My words hit a nerve. Mom's face fell, and Dad lowered his head, avoiding my eyes. My sister looked guilty. "Sis, I'm sorry. It's because I'm not healthy that you're tired out. It's not your fault. It's mine." I didn't want to say much more. After a quick bandaging of my wound, I just got lost in the scenery outside the window. Once I helped my sister get through the entrance exam, Mom and Dad finally left relieved. Mom gave Sis an extra 10 grand, on top of her living expenses. Sis was bawling, saying she didn't want them to leave. Mom consoled her for a while before reluctantly heading out. As for me, she barely looked my way. Before leaving, Dad slipped me a bank card, telling me to eat well at school and not to shortchange myself. But I wasn't clueless about his real intentions. That money, it's just temporarily with me. He really means it for sister. Before college, Sis was into makeup. Most of her allowance was spent on cosmetics. In college, it got even worse. That extra cash Mom gave her, it got spent fast. Even the remaining 5 grand on the card was nearly gone. To earn some money for living expenses and a train ticket home, Sis suggested we get part-time jobs. She didn't want Mom and Dad thinking she wasted cash. We were turned away a lot due to lack of experience. But Sis, having never faced tough times, couldn't handle it. After a massive argument with the store owner, she quit. That night, she told Mom and Dad all about her hardships at college, crying crocodile tears, without mentioning the money issue. And so I turned out to be the bad guy. Over the phone, Mom's shouting nearly shattered my eardrums. "Molly, you're supposed to look after your sister, not make her work. If she loses weight in school, I'll deal with you." In the past, to get Sis home smoothly, I worked full-time, giving her all the money I earned. Now, though I still work, I'm not as naive as before. By the end of the term, Sis had actually gained weight. Once home, Mom focused on Sis's studies and spending, while I felt like an invisible child. Sis mumbled incoherently. Dad got impatient and questioned me. "Didn't I leave you a card? You didn't give any to your sister?" Hoping Sis would speak up, I glanced at her. But she's proud and sensitive. She would never admit to using up all that money. It would be humiliating if Mom and Dad found out. So instead, her head hung low, and tears dripped to the floor. Mom lost it. Shoving me the floor, she started hitting me with a stick, yelling while doing so. "You're so selfish. Not taking care of your sister. I'll beat the dog out of you." Dad half-heartedly tried to stop Mom, but mostly just watched. I curled up, protecting my head. Perhaps fearing she might actually beat me to death, Sis finally spoke up. "Stop it, Mom. Stop it. It's not that Sis didn't give me money." Upon hearing that, Mom stopped mid-swing. Dad immediately helped me up, glanced disapprovingly at Mom while checking my injuries. Mom asked Sis again for confirmation. "So she did give you money?" Mom reassured Sis, "Don't be scared. Mom's got your back." Sis's voice was barely audible. It took a while for her to muster. She gave me the card. She didn't withhold it. "So, is there money left in the card?" "Yes." "How much?" 5 grand. There was 5 grand in the card, and I didn't spend a penny. It all went to her. Mom stared at me, shocked, with a rare hint of guilt in her eyes. But accepting defeat was not in her nature. "Why didn't you say so from the start? Then you wouldn't have gotten hit. You deserve it." But even if I had spoken up, would she have believed me? In another life, I already knew the truth. When Dad gave me that bank card, I naively thought he actually cared. Once they found out I hadn't given Sis the card, it was Dad who became the harshest. If Sis didn't open her mouth, they'd always assume I had wronged her. So saying something or not didn't really matter. I struggled to stand, forced a bitter smile. Sorry, Mom. I failed to look after Sis. I deserved the beating. Mom hesitated to speak. Dad sighed. Molly, don't blame Mom. She's just hoping you'll set a good example for Lindy. How's school going? Learning a trade's always a good idea. We care about you. I swallowed the lump in my throat, managing only a few words. Yeah, I'll keep working hard. Dad smiled approvingly, calling me a good kid. I'm heading to my room to rest. Their phony faces said enough, no need for more words. All right, go on. As I turned away, my smile vanished. In my room, I opened the registration form for the summer college entrance exam. Level by level, Sis started slipping from the academic pace. The teacher called the folks, saying if Sis didn't pass the exam, she'd be expelled. So, when we got home over the May Day break, Mom gave me a strict mandate. How have you been tutoring Linda? She's been failing too many subjects. If she flunks again, don't bother coming back. Then softly to Sis, tell Mom if she's not teaching you right. Sis pouted, sneaking a glance at me, grumbling, these problems are so confusing. I just can't get them. The scene was déjà vu, played out many times in our past life. Before returning, I'd anticipated this confrontation. But do you think I wouldn't have a plan? I whipped out my phone and started playing recordings of our tutoring sessions. My sister's confident voice rang out from my phone. Hey sis, the exam questions are super easy. You don't need to go overboard with teaching me. But Mom and Dad said I should help you graduate smoothly. I've been studying hard myself. I understand everything the teachers say. It should be fine. I still think it's better if I teach you once more. Come on, no need. I've already called Dad and told him you're doing a great job, and I understand everything you're teaching. If I fail, it's on me. Plus, you've got your own exams at your tech school, right? Not as crucial, but still necessary to pass for the certificate, right? Alright, just promise me you'll ask if you get stuck on anything. Got it. My makeup just arrived, gotta go pick it up. See ya. Next, I played another recording, this time of a conversation with Dad. My sister says she's doing well and doesn't need much help. Linda told me. You've been tutoring her well. When you get back, your mom and I will take you out for a nice meal. I put away my phone. Dad looked at me shocked. His words sounded so harsh and really embarrassed them. They not only forgot their promise, but tried to make it all my fault. My parents looked down ashamed. My sister forgot to pout at Mom. As for me, I wasn't in the mood to argue. I went back to my room to keep studying. Separated by a door, it felt like we lived in different worlds. That night, I studied late and slept in the next morning. It was the first lazy morning I've had at home. I thought my parents felt guilty, so they weren't making me wake up early like usual. But I was wrong. The house was empty. They all vanished without a trace, even my sister. The kitchen was spotless. The fridge was bare. Until noon, I happened to see my sister updated her Twitter. In the photo, she was wearing a pink sun hat, a lovely floral dress, happily eating ice cream. She and Mom were cheek to cheek, smiling beautifully. Captioned, when feeling down, it's great to have Mom and Dad by my side. First stop, we're off. But right after, the post disappeared. I knew then she'd forgotten to block me. They went on a trip and didn't tell me. But that's okay. I'll travel farther on my own someday, see more sights. 5 days flew by. I was absorbed in studying each day. When I got tired, I'd nap. Hungry, I'd buy groceries with money I earned from my part-time job and cook for myself. On the last morning, I treated myself to some braised pork. I thought they'd be out till the evening, but they came back early. Sister was decked out in all sorts of accessories. Mom and Dad carried a bunch of bags, and it was pretty obvious what they were. But meeting them was more about their complete disregard. Where do you get the money for braised pork? Mom glared, looking like she'd want to devour me. I gently set down my chopsticks, looked up, and dodged the question. Where did you guys go? Mom seemed guilty while Dad started lying. Your sister had a high fever. We took her elsewhere for treatment. Then Dad repeated Mom's question. Where do you get the money? I saved up. Dad narrowed his eyes. Didn't you give it all to Linda? I stared directly back at him. Would you be happy if I starved? Dad wanted to blow up, but just ended up grunting. Your sister's sick, so she can't study. You'll take her exams. I looked at my sister. She turned away, avoiding my gaze. I chuckled inside. I didn't expose their lies, just went along with their act. All right then. During finals, I sat in my sister's seat. Afterward, I bumped into an old high school friend, John. Back in those days, he had a crush on me, but I rejected him. He chased after me, asking how things have been. I casually said things were okay. Then, he mentioned he still liked me, and hadn't seen me since the college entrance exams, hoping I wouldn't reject him again now that we reunited. I thought about it, gave him my contact info, and told him where my sister's class was. I vividly remembered how in the past life, when John and I appeared in front of my sister, her eyes sparkled at him. John too was captivated by her innocence. They seemed like the perfect pair, and I felt like an outsider. The next day John texted, asking why I lied. He said I wasn't in that class at all. I didn't really lie. After all, my sister and I had long swapped identities. I told him that was my sister Linda, was her name now. I also told him her grades weren't great, and if she didn't pass, she'd be kicked out. And that's why I did it for her. And you? Where are you studying now? Tech school. His reply took a while. Then you must be swamped. How about this? You focus on your studies. I'll help your sister with hers. Make sure she passes. I simply replied okay. After that, John stopped contacting me as expected. And my sister, saying she had a classmate's help, didn't need my tutoring anymore. She was scared I'd steal her boyfriend, so she didn't mention who was helping her since I had told her John confessed to me once. Afterward, she stopped reaching out, just occasionally posting shadowy dining pics on Twitter without showing faces. I knew it was John, but I didn't care. As for my parents, ever since our blowout, they didn't reach out either, besides ordering me not to forget about my sister's studies. They didn't even ask about my living expenses. I completely turned into their servant. But even that I didn't mind. After retaking the exams, I made it back into the school I longed for. Working part-time while studying. Exhausting but fulfilling. I also embraced the name Molly. Seeing John and my sister again was in the study hall before the next semester exams. They held hands, their eyes filled with one another. When they saw me, they froze. I was calm and collected, but John panicked and let go of my sister's hand subconsciously. She lowered her head. Sis, how have you been lately? Good, I replied. Actually, I should call you senior. Surprised, she asked, huh? Did you retake the exam? I dodged the question. Aren't you going to introduce him? As if realizing, she quickly said, oh right, this is John. He's been tutoring me for the past 6 months. I said evenly, just classmates. Her face turned as red as a ripe cherry. John was quick to explain, Linda, remember I told you about helping tutor your sister? I was non-committal. Keep up the good work. By the way, I'm Molly. She's actually Linda. I emphasized Linda strongly. My sister's lips moved as if she wanted to say something, but they remained sealed. I couldn't be bothered to argue, so I walked past them. Before long, I got a friend request from someone tagged as John. After accepting it, he bombarded me with messages. He said he was just tutoring my sister and had no other intentions, claiming that I was the only one in his heart. He said he hadn't reached out because he lost his phone along with my contact info. His childish lies amused me. My sister was with him every day. Couldn't he just ask for my number? I just sent him a screenshot of my sister's Twitter. He pretended to be unaware, trying to play it cool. Tutoring her for so long. Didn't know you had a boyfriend? I gave a sarcastic laugh. You might want to check your wrist and stop pretending. I knew John had a scar on his wrist from high school. After a pause, John said, lots of people have scars on their wrists. You can't be sure it's me. Tired of the conversation, I just turned off my phone. Yet, I underestimated his persistence. He showed up outside my dorm. To avoid misunderstandings, I agreed to meet on the playground. John confided that while my sister was innocent, she had an inexplicable arrogance. He claimed I was the only one he really liked. But I knew what kind of person he was, just feeding me lies to have his cake and eat it too. I kept a straight face. "Oh, what about my sister? She really seems to like you." John exclaimed, "That's her business. I only like you. I love you." I gestured behind him. John frowned, then quickly turned. My sister stood a few yards away, her face mixed with disbelief, hurt, and anger. "John, is that how you really feel about me? If you didn't like me, why agree to be with me?" John opened his mouth, watching her stomp away angrily. He gave me an angry look, but quickly wiped it off to gain my trust. "Did you let her hear that on purpose?" I smirked. "She just happened to stop by to talk to me. I wasn't lying." Before John came to find me, my sister messaged saying she wanted to talk about John and asked me to stay out of their relationship stuff. I just had them come at the same time. "Someone got hit, better check it out." A conversation from bystanders reached my ears. John glanced toward the crowd and left without saying goodbye. When I followed, I saw who got hit. My sister lay unconscious on the ground. John took her in his arms and climbed into the ambulance, calling her name repeatedly, calling her Molly. See, to him, I was just a backup. My sister had probably told him everything by now, but John still chose her side. After all, what fault was it of hers? It was our parents' doing. John saw me and accused me of being heartless, harming my sister. But he forgot. His words were what truly hurt her. When our parents arrived at the hospital, without knowing the full story, they slapped me. The sting broke any last connection we had. My sister had a severe hemorrhage in her leg. She needed an immediate blood transfusion, or she could die. My parents exchanged glances and looked at me. They wanted me to save her. "She's your sister. How could you let her die?" I replied coldly, "There's plenty of blood in the hospital. You cherish her so much, just buy some." As a medical student, I understood what losing 1,500 milliliters of blood meant. It was far beyond the lethal limit. They wanted to save money and let me die in her place. In my last life, I'd been her substitute till the end, dying with regret. This time, I just wanted to win. Seeing I refused, my parents threatened to disown me. I laughed coldly, right in front of everyone. "Fine, from now on, I have nothing to do with you." Mom, furious, pointed and screamed, "You ungrateful brat. We raised you and you dare talk to us like that. I'll beat you." She lunged at me, but this wasn't home and not her domain to run wild. Security stopped her. I then told everyone there about their favoritism towards my sister and how they forced everything of mine to her. My parents were humiliated as people pointed at them. They told me to get out, saying they never wanted to see me again. At that moment I smiled, feeling utterly relieved. With my sister's condition, my parents couldn't focus on targeting me. They quickly bought blood for her. As for me, I quietly left the hospital alone. Then I blocked everyone, continued my studies through work-study programs, and graduated college. During school, I never saw my sister again. After graduation, I got hired by a state-owned enterprise. With my hard work, I gradually climbed up to a management position. For the May Day holiday, I've decided to buy my own car. Then I'd like to travel alone and see more places. At the car dealership, I ran into my sister again. Her leg has a permanent injury from a car accident, and she can't walk as smoothly as before. She's holding on to John's arm. They're both focused on picking out a car. My sister was a bit surprised to see me. She was shocked by how much I've changed over the past 3 years, and by the fact that I bought a BMW. She walked slowly toward me with John's support. John's eyes had a hint of anger. I've seen that look before, when I took the exam for my sister. It's the kind of long-standing resentment that lingers. My sister said softly, "We're getting married." "Congrats," I replied simply. I've broadened my perspective a lot over these years, so I'm not hung up on past issues. I was ready to leave. As I was leaving, my sister called out, "Sis, come back home sometime. It's been ages and Mom and Dad definitely want to see you." I paused for a moment. "I'll think about it." After my trip, I went back home. Mom and Dad looked much older. They were putting up decorations for my sister's wedding. Someone recognized me and said, "After all these years, it's time to let go of the past. After all, family is family." I thought it might be nice to see them. But when my parents saw me, They weren't happy to see me again. They were full of resentment. They blamed me for not helping my sister graduate, for embarrassing them in the village, for treating their daughter poorly, and for not giving my sister a blood transfusion in time for her surgery. Even now, they're putting all the blame on me. You want forgiveness? Want back in this family? Sell your car and give me the money. Plus, you'll need to cough up $5,000 monthly for them. Or you're not setting foot in this house. I looked at them, didn't argue. Neighbors tried to mediate, wanting me to apologize. But I did nothing wrong. I shook my head and walked away. This trip was a mistake. My mom's angry shouts followed me. Don't ever come back if you can help it. Useless. Ungrateful. Curse you. Later, I went abroad for work. There, I tasted different cuisines and soaked in different views. Somehow John got my number. And he repeated his usual tirade. He said he never liked my sister, that they were together out of guilt from the accident. Since marrying her, he's had it with her tantrums, her wasteful spending, and my parents' greed. I said, "You don't deserve to be with me." That set him off. He yelled at me. "Who do you think you are to look down on me?" I ignored his pointless rage and turned off my phone. The plane took off. I was moving on to my next destination. Months later, on the day I was promoted to project manager, my sister called in tears. John had abused her, and Mom was sick. Dad claimed he was too busy with medical bills to care about her. John resented her for eating expensive steak and buying pricey makeup, for not doing house chores, and for paying off debts for her vampire parents. My pampered sister Linda never went through such hardships. Yet she wrongly blamed me. She swapped her vulnerability for rage. "It's you. You knew John was irresponsible, but let him know my class. Even with your earnings, you won't help with Mom's treatment. It's all your fault. You brought misfortune to this family." She finally admitted to seeing me as an outsider. Before I could speak, I heard John's annoyed voice and the sound of the phone being thrown. "What the heck are you screaming about? Get in the kitchen, I'm hungry. If you can't cook, learn. Cook your damn food." I've never faced this kind of suffering. I want a divorce. I'm gonna have Dad beat you. Your parents can't help you at all. Without me, you're doomed. Linda screamed hysterically. "I'd rather die than stay with you." Bang! After a loud noise, there was silence. Linda jumped, and her child with her. I went back again later. I heard that when my parents learned of Linda's death, they locked themselves inside for days. They looked like they were in their 70s, even though they were in their 50s, their eyes void of any light. They sued John, who ended up in prison. But their most cherished daughter was gone forever. They finally tasted the hurt I experienced. I felt no pity, but also didn't feel joy, only heaviness. Everything seemed like a cycle. If they hadn't favored Linda so much from the start. But there's no if. Some things are irreversible. The end.